Hi, welcome to Microsoft Azure Fundamentals Az-900 Practice Question Part 9. Question 81. True or false? A media company has set up a hybrid cloud environment by configuring an Azure virtual private connection between Azure and an on-premises network. There are costs associated with transferring data from Azure to your on-premises network. Now the options are: Option 1, true. Option 2, false. And the correct answer is Option 1, true. The correct answer is true. When communication occurs from Microsoft Azure to your on-premises data center, the company must pay an additional fee for data transfer. At that time, you can select from the pay-as-you-go type or the fixed monthly charge type that does not depend on the amount of communications. Specifically, the first 5 GB per month is free and the charge will change depending on the transfer amount. Next question. True or false? A media company is considering using Microsoft Azure. Currently, we are using a private cloud, so it is necessary to implement a hybrid cloud model with Azure. In order to do this, it is necessary to migrate the private cloud to Azure. Now the options are: Option 1, true. Option 2, false. And the correct answer is Option 2, false. The correct answer is false. The hybrid cloud model is a cloud usage pattern that combines both the public cloud model and the private cloud model. This means you are using multiple clouds at the same time, so you don't have to move your private cloud to an Azure environment. Next question. A media company is considering using Microsoft Azure. You are currently using a private cloud, but you have decided to cease its use. When is the right time to terminate a private cloud hosted in a data center? Now the options are: Option 1, after all resources in the private cloud have been migrated to your on-premises environment. Option 2, after all resources in the private cloud have been migrated to the public cloud. Option 3, maintaining all resources in the private cloud. Option 4, after shutting down all resources in the private cloud. And the correct answer is Option 2, after all resources in the private cloud have been migrated to the public cloud. Option 2 is the correct answer. If all your servers have been migrated to the Azure cloud, which is public cloud, and there are no dependencies left for your private cloud or on-premises environment, you can completely cease using it. Option 1 is incorrect. Migrating resources to an on-premises environment is incorrect because migration on-premises from a private cloud cannot be done. Option 3 is incorrect. It cannot be created while maintaining resources. Resources must be migrated before they are terminated. Option 4 is incorrect. Even if you stop the resource, when you abolish the private cloud, if the resources remains there, that resource will also be abolished, so it is not appropriate. Next question. True or false? A media company is considering using Microsoft Azure. Since they are currently using an on-premises data center, they need to implement a hybrid cloud model with Azure. They are able to expand their on-premises data capacity to the public cloud. Now the options are: Option 1, true. Option 2, false. And the correct answer is Option 1, true. The correct answer is true. Companies can use public cloud providers such as Microsoft Azure to extend their on-premises resource configuration. For example, it is possible to expand the storage in the on-premises environment and maintain the configuration in which they can use storage in the cloud as a hybrid cloud. By doing so, it is possible to expand storage identically using the cloud together. This allows storage beyond the physical constraints of the on-premises environment. Next question. True or false? A media company is considering using Microsoft Azure. They are currently using Microsoft Active Directory and so they need to work with Azure AD. They can use the business to business B2B failure of Azure AD to manage external partners. Now the options are option 1 true, option 2 false, and the correct answer is option 1 true. The correct answer is true. Microsoft Azure has an ID service called Azure Active Directory. Azure AD's business to business B2B capabilities allows you to manage external partners while maintaining control of your own corporate data. Business to business B2B collaboration in Azure Active Directory Azure AD is a feature of external identities that allows you to invite guest users to your organization to collaborate. B2B collaboration allows you to securely share the applications and services with guest users accessed by other organizations while maintaining control over your data. Regardless of the size of your external partner, you can work with your external partner in a safe and secure manner even if you don't own Azure AD or have an IT department. A simple invitation acceptance process allows partners to use their credential to access your resources. Developers can use the Azure AD B2B API to customers the invitation process and create applications such as self-service sign-up portals. Next question. True or false? A media company is considering using Microsoft Azure. They are currently using Microsoft Active Directory and so they need to work with Azure AD. For this, they can use the inter-consumer B2C features of Azure AD to manage their customers. Now the options are option 1 true, option 2 false, and the correct answer is option 1 true. The correct answer is true. Azure Active Directory B2C provides a business to consumer B2C identity as a service. Customers can use their favorite social enterprise or local account IDs for single sign-on access to applications and APIs. Next question. True or false? A media company is considering using Microsoft Azure. They are currently using Microsoft Active Directory. So they will need to work with Azure AD. Azure Active Directory can authenticate Azure and Microsoft Office 365 services. Now the options are option 1 true, option 2 false, and the correct answer is option 1 true. The correct answer is true. You can use Azure Active Directory to authenticate with both Azure resources and Microsoft Office 365. Microsoft 365 uses Azure Active Directory Azure AD to manage users' identities. The Microsoft 365 subscription includes a free Azure AD subscription, so you can integrate your on-premises Active Directory domain service at DS. To synchronize user accounts and passwords or set up single sign-on, you can also purchase advanced features to improve your account management. Next question. True or false? Azure Service Health can view the status of Azure resources related to your subscription. Now the options are option 1 true, option 2 false, and the correct answer is option 1 true. The correct answer is true. Azure Service Health informs you about Azure Service incidents and planned maintenance so you can take action to reduce downtime. Configure customizable cloud alerts, use personalized dashboard to analyze health issues, monitors impacts on cloud resources, receive guidance and support and share details and updates. If you go to Service Health and Resource Health, you can see the status of the resources. You would go to service issues to see problems with your underlying Azure infrastructure. Next question. A company needs to deploy their servers to the Azure cloud in order to comply with the company's security policy. The server's network segment must be separated from other resources. Which is the most efficient way to deploy a server that meets these requirements? Now the options are option 1 deploy to another resource group. Option 2, expand to another AZ. Option 3, use a different account to isolate resources. Option 4, deploy a new Azure Virtual Network VNet. And the correct answer is option 4, deploy a new Azure Virtual Network VNet. Option 4 is the correct answer. When separating servers, you can separate resources by deploying a new Azure Virtual Network VNet. Azure Virtual Network VNet is a basic component of a private network within Azure. VNet allows different types of Azure resources such as Azure Virtual Machines VMS to communicate securely with other Azure resources, the internet and on-premises networks. VNets are similar to traditional network operating in your own data center but offer additional benefits to your Azure infrastructure, including scaling, availability, and isolation. Option 1 is incorrect. Resources installed in the same virtual network will not be separated even if they are deployed in different resource groups. Option 2 is incorrect. Resources can be associated if they can be deployed in different agents and placed in the same virtual network. Option 3 is incorrect. You can use your different account to isolate resources as long as you don't share a virtual network. However, it is a very inefficient method and does not meet the requirement. Next question. A company needs to deploy a web application to the Azure cloud. It uses the Azure Web App Services and the SQL database service. Each of these services availability needs to be managed based on the SLA. Select two elements that will be used as SLA availability metrics. Now the options are: option 1, mean time to recover MTTR. Option 2, mean time between failure MTBF. Option 3, mean time to success MTTS. Option 4, mean time to failure MTTF. And the correct answer is option 1, mean time to recover MTTR. Option 2, mean time between failures MTBF. Option 1 and 2 are correct answers. The service level agreement is calculated using mean time to recovery MTTR and mean time between failures MTBF as metrics. Mean time to recovery MTTR is the average time it takes to recover a component after a failure. Mean time between failures MTBF is the reasonably expected component uptime before the next failure.